everyone, this is Brittnee Bond, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, I am very excited to introduce to you the very cool and amazing Noah.
Hello, everybody.
So Noah's wearing sunglasses now because it's way too bright out here for him. Do you want to say hi without your sunglasses for a second?
Yes, I would love to say hi to everybody without the glasses and the light sensitivity, and then say, it's bright, and put them back on.
You look way cooler like that. So Noah is my best friend Michaela's partner. And in the last podcast, I talked a lot about masculinity and what men can do to help with this collective trauma of being frozen as a man and how to integrate and be fully integrated in your masculinity today. And then I thought, you know what? You and I talk about this stuff all the time, Noah.
Yes.
And I was like, it would be so cool to put you on the podcast. And so today, I'm literally about to go on a train right after this. But I was like, we have a half an hour. Let's sit down and have a conversation about masculinity with a man.
Let's do it.
So this podcast, again, is dedicated to all the beautiful masculine presenting men in my life. And also, of course, it's for all the women, because all of us women are here to support the men in our life and love them. And we're very excited for men to be more fully integrated. Let's just put it that way. So you and I talk a lot about what does it mean to be a fully integrated man. So integration means like being aligned in all your parts. And well, what would you say integration is? Let's ask the man.
For me, integration is the positive aspects of different archetypes or different values that maybe we want to hold but are afraid to, and like learning how to, integrate them.
Yeah. So basically like living in alignment with your values and your ethics.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And like showing up in the way that you want to show up. Like there is the version of ourselves that we want to be, and like, are we actually walking our truth and walking our path? I think I'm saying that right.
Yeah. That, and like kind of breaking down of cultural preset in place norms that maybe say you shouldn't do this or you should do that, and being like, you know what? No, this is what feels good for me, and this is what I'm going to do because it's coming from my heart.
Yeah, I love that. And you and I talk a lot about how when you lead with your heart, everything works out because you have the purest intentions. And so I feel like the universe kind of brings everything into alignment for you, even if you have no fucking clue what you're doing. And I think that is I don't want to say a new concept for men, but I think that's a harder one for men to lead with their heart. So I want to ask you, like, how was your journey in going from, kind of a normal guy to someone, or normal in the sense of like maybe being a little bit more heart closed? Were you ever heart closed? I feel like you've always been a very sensitive, cool guy.
I've always been sensitive and like very heartful, emotional, but there's still definitely like, societal pressures, or like how I can act around these people versus how I can act around these people. So
you would mold yourself sometimes to the situation, and is it more that you wouldn't show fully your emotional reality in front of certain people?
I think so, yeah, like in front of like more masculine or more jockey guy friends and things like that, not necessarily talking about emotions because you're a man, tough it up, don't cry, that's weak.
Yes, we've heard that one before. Oh, I want to maybe give the framework in this podcast about remember we were talking about like dark masculinity versus light masculinity. So I've never explained this framework within one of my podcasts, and I think it would be really beautiful to give people this to like as a reference point. So do you want to explain this from your perspective?
Yeah. There's also, I don't know if you wanted to share, I have a visual that kind of represents.
Yeah, send it to me. I'll put it in the podcast. I can put it on the side right now.
It was shared by one of my teachers. His name's Jared, and all he asks is that there's acknowledgement when it's shared. He doesn't like want money or anything. Just like, hey, this is who this came from. And so with the 4 different kind of quadrants or aspects, light masculine, dark masculine, light feminine, dark feminine, they aren't gendered. Everybody has all of these things inside them, and it's how we choose to integrate them, or it's what we're most comfortable in sometimes, and just everybody operates a little differently, but then the integration of all them is where it really, I feel, becomes important. And So light masculine can be seen in like, I guess there's an integrated and unintegrated version of each of these things. And light masculine in like the healthy way can be a great like space holder, container creator. And then the unintegrated version can be like the I need to help, and selfless giving, and like the savior in like a savior complex, not in like I just want to help people, but like I need to do this, otherwise they couldn't do this themselves.
So it's more out of a scarcity energy than an abundance energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then dark masculine, more the unintegrated could be seen as like a taker. Possibly not necessarily abuser, but more of like, I'm going to take what I want regardless of what the outcome is. Versus the integrated version can be playful, flirtatious, kind of think of like, I'm going to age myself here, but like the Fonz, or like kind of like the bad boy on a motorcycle, like, hey, you want to come have a cigarette in the back of my car?
Like the suave guy.
Yeah, very suave. And then light feminine, generally kind of represented as like the flower child, very like energetic and creative and open, playful. But then the unintegrated version could be like the victim.
Like not taking responsibility for your life and just being like, just see what happens. I'm just going to flow through life. I know a lot of women or girls, I'll say girls like that on Kopanyang.
Yep. And it's interesting how those three kind of fit into the victim, hero, savior triangle. And then the dark feminine is unintegrated, could be seen as like the manipulator. One example I've heard is like a Venus flytrap or a seductress. So it's like, hey, come over here. I'm just like this flowy little and then chomp. But the integrated version is more like
Of the dark feminine.
Yes, of the dark feminine is more, I'm going to use my love, and again, coming from the heart, being integrated, of like to get what I want, but for a greater good, or just that power of taking through those, I guess, more kind of seductive means, which
And that magnetism.
Yep. And I feel like a lot of people fall into the light masculine because of like people pleasing or helping. And
Wait, so just to frame this, so all of this, the point is that everyone has masculine and feminine energy in us, no matter what body you were born into. And the goal is to be fully integrated. So even for me as a woman in a female body, I feel like I led most of my life in my light masculine energy. Like I was always trying to save everyone, help everyone. I want to save the world. Oh, my mission, da-da-da. But it really was out of a scarcity energy of like feeling like I was doing this because then I felt worthy of connection. I felt worthy of being here. And also, I mean, this is a side note, but I just always felt like an alien. I was like, I just want to finish my mission and go home, But when it comes to a lot of men that you encounter, and maybe even like a lot of men that you encounter in your life, which quadrant do you think that they fit into?
I think like if I think of like the typical man kind of being stereotypical, broad blanketing terms of a lot of more the dark masculinity of the take and kind of not caring about what the outcome is and just the very selfish, needy, and I guess even doing those things maybe to hide something else that needs to be integrated or processed.
Yeah, more aggressive energy, right?
Yeah.
And just like closed heart.
Yep.
Yeah. And when he talked about the victim, can you say that?
The hero, the victim, and the villain.
So can you explain that triangle thing that normally happens?
Yeah, so in a lot of either relationship dynamics or friendship dynamics, any really dynamics, if you're not like either integrated or taking responsibility, it's really easy to fall into putting yourself into one of those positions like, oh, I'm the hero because I'm saving this person. And then by saving this person, you're making them the victim. And then in that, you're finding who the perpetrator or the aggressor or the...
Is it usually them in the end or someone outside?
I guess it depends on the situation, but yeah, I feel like the third one can either be a situation or a person that's causing that thing in that triangle.
And the point is that I guess like if you're wondering how to apply that victim, what was it? Hero, victim, villain
Yep.
concept. Ask yourself in a situation where something feels out of place or out of alignment, am I falling into one of these? Am I trying to be the hero? Am I feeling like the victim? Am I trying to find a villain in the situation? And then you can start figuring out, like, I feel like that is a good indicator that something's out of alignment, something is not integrated. Because I just realized I wanted to take a deep breath. I feel like when you are fully integrated, so you're balanced in your own energy of masculine and feminine inside of yourself, you don't create situations that are, hero, victim, villain. So basically, if you're attracting in these kind of situations, it's usually because there's an opportunity for you to do some more work on yourself, and or look at the people that you have around you, because they might be really unintegrated, and then they are kind of pulling you into these unhealthy, dysfunctional loops. And I had to go through a lot of my friend group in the last year, and like ask myself, like, are these people bringing me more peace, or are they bringing me more drama in my life? Like, are they supporting who I'm becoming? Do I feel more energy and more inspired and more grounded in who I am after I hang out with them? Like the energy exchange. Because what he's talking about is no matter if it's a relationship or if it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, anytime you're connecting your energy with someone else, there's something called a polarity balance that happens. So what that means is like you two are, I always think of it as the spiral, what is that called? I always forget the name of that. Basically, like your energy inside of your body, if you think about the spiral, in the States, it's like the sign of the physician sign of like the two snakes going up the spine. I think of everything very esoterically in energy. Basically, inside your body, your masculine and feminine energy are spiraling up your spine and hopefully are flowing in a way where they're going the same direction and they're going in the same amount. That's full integration. So when you're mixing your energy with someone else, you're literally spiraling your energy, and hopefully it's going higher to a higher vibration. But if it's not, if one of you has more, like if your feminine energy is unintegrated or if your masculine energy is unintegrated, there's something that's going to feel out of alignment. And the goal is all of us want to be fully in alignment, fully integrated in all of our parts. And to bring it back to men, what is, in your opinion, because I shared a lot in my last podcast about like, I feel like collectively men are in a trauma response of being frozen, because they have so much programming around what does it mean to be a good man? What does it mean to be a man in general in this life? And then on top of that, all of this collective trauma that we have from the past that a lot of us are processing right now. I think all of us are processing right now. And so it's kind of like you get handed this bag of stuff you got to work through, not just for yourself, but for the whole collective. And then you're just trying to show up and like enjoy your life at the same time. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Oh, it's easy. No, it's challenging, and it's in my opinion, it's brave work, because it is, something that's been so ingrained and just almost literally for some people beaten into them. Like you cry, you get hit, don't show your emotions. And sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Well, I'll just share, so we were talking to a friend yesterday. I was talking to a friend yesterday, a guy friend, that we both have. And he was saying, I was asking him, like, how do you feel in your body right now? And he was like, that's a really good question. I don't actually feel my body right now. And I was like, tell me more about that. Cause I love getting into this stuff. And so we laid down. We were at a party, like a little birthday party that we do here, our hippie version. And so we were just laying down on some cushions, and he was telling me about how growing up, the energy of how he was raised was like his dad was very military-esque, like you need to do this and it needs to be like this. And he just said to me anytime I cried, anytime I showed any emotions, I got more punished. And things got worse, basically. And so he learned to just cut off his emotions, that was basically not safe to feel his body. and that it took him doing a 10-day Vipassana retreat for him to actually reconnect with his body. And I was like, oh, can you, like, I'm so curious, can you share about how it felt to reconnect with your body? And he was like, yeah, like I suddenly started feeling like this like burning sensation in my stomach. Like I was like hungry, but I had just eaten and I knew it wasn't physical hunger. And then he was like, I just felt like my heart was like really like had so much energy going through it. Like it really wanted to be felt. And I'm like, and my question to him was, do you feel like that was a new sensation or that you just finally were feeling it? And he's like, oh no, it's always there. I just think I wasn't addressing it and my body was talking to me. And I was like, oh, I love it when men like reconnect to their body, because then I feel like, because for me as a woman and a very sensitive being, I can feel everyone around me. So it's very painful. It's a painful experience for me, especially when I'm connecting with my friends that I love that are men, where I can feel their body and they can't feel their body. So it's almost like their body is like having a conversation with me and like crying out to me, like, hey, something's off, or this, I want to feel this thing. And I'm like asking, I was thinking about a friend in Germany. I'm like, how do you feel right now? And he's like, I'm fine. Everything's fine. What are you talking about? I'm fine. And I'm like, I don't know, because I can feel your body and it doesn't feel fine. So I guess for the question to you was more like, where do you feel like men are at on that journey? And like, maybe another question is just like, how have you been able to progress on this journey of being more embodied?
So I think men as a whole, as is the whole collective, is experiencing a large shift right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's a definite shift back into more of the feminine having more power, the feminine having more balance.
Mm-hmm.
And that there's maybe just like some confusion around that of like, I, like you said, I've always had this, and I've, like their friend that we were talking about, and I want places to output this. And I guess it's kind of like maybe breaking through old fears or insecurities in a similar way of like, like consent based, like, hey, can I sit next to you? Or, hey, can I have a safe space with you? And not knowing where those spaces are, and maybe.
You mean to feel their feelings?
Yep.
Yeah.
And to maybe like be leaning into them and wanting to more, but not knowing where or how to. And, the fact that if you're learning something new or trying to do something new and you run into somebody who's not receptive of that, or like even after a big spiritual experience, if you don't, have a safe place for those things to land, and somebody's like, oh, that's stupid, that can totally hinder an experience or completely stop it in certain situations. So
yeah, it can like re-traumatize you. You're just like opening up and someone's like, no, and you're like, okay.
Absolutely. So I think there's a definite want, and there's also still a hesitation of like, oh, this is what's been safe for so long, is shutting it down and not feeling those things. And I guess leading to, like you said, maybe different energetic bodies or chakras being activated, but still maybe feeling a closure in the heart, or even like you said, like, please, but nope. Nope.
Yeah, like their body is reaching out, but their brain is like, not safe yet, not safe. We're going to shut that down.
Yep. And for me, I guess it's been kind of an ongoing, I don't want to say struggle, because it's always been opportunities for growth. It's always been.
I always say that sarcastically, like, my opportunity for growth.
Oh, yeah. Like, oh, my gosh, I'm being so presented with so many opportunities to grow right now.
Like, thank you and fuck you.
Okay, we can swear. Good.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I do all of it on here.
But yeah, and then for myself, I mean, I was raised mainly by 3 women. My father didn't really have a positive impact in my life, so.
I mean, he had a pretty traumatic impact in your life from what I heard.
Yes, okay, very.
Let's just like be real here.
Yeah, it's very traumatic and very shutting down and very religious based.
Yeah, we were raised in the same religion, Jehovah's Witness, which
Yep.
I find fascinating to have that connection.
Random connection, just synchronicity.
Nothing's random. Yes. But anyway, sorry, go on.
But yeah, and for me, I guess, like, being raised by 3 women, I feel I've always been closer and more in touch with those emotions. But then, like, how do I do that in the real world around my guy friends? And, for a while, I was just a chameleon. I would be this for this person, that for that person. Like my old favorite joke of, oh my God, you love my personality? Thank you. I made this one just for you.
Oh, babe, that makes me sad.
I used to think that was like such a good quality to have. And now it's
Aw.
like, it works for retail work. Like,
Yeah, I mean, but again, like my reality, that's emotional survival.
absolutely.
And I choose to live, I choose to thrive, not survive, you know?
Absolutely. And
I'm not judging it. It just makes me feel for you, you know?
oh, no. And I appreciate that. And thank you for holding that with me. And yeah, it's really been the last 6 years that I've more fully been able to lean into all of these things, partially moving to Washington, partially the community that I live in being supportive, my partner being absolutely amazing and just a rock in a safe space.
We love Michaela.
We're
Team
amazing.
Michaela.
Yes, Team Michaela. Huzzah. And yeah, I mean, going through, I guess one of the big breakthrough moments for me was like, I can't control when I cry. Like, if I'm sad, it's going to happen. And there was an event that I was at. It was Neo-Tantra, Pink Tantra, so between the sexy side and the spiritual side. And I can't remember what the exercise we were doing was, but it was very vulnerable. I think it was after we were doing like a literal like shedding and kind of throwing things representatively that we didn't want anymore. And afterwards, I started emoting. I was crying. I was very vulnerable and raw, and didn't really think anything of it other than probably. Actually, I know I had some self-judgment around that of like, all these people are seeing me cry. Like, this feels weird. But then afterwards, what I will say is like a big burly man of a man, tall, chopped haircut, big, just like, hi, I am a presence, came up to me afterwards and shared that because of seeing me emote, he was able to cry and get through. I don't know what his trauma was, but it was something that he'd been holding for a long time. And just having that experience reflected back at me that like my tears, my openness, and my vulnerability were able to help someone else in like a positive way that wasn't, it wasn't the light masculine of me being like, oh, I need to cry for this person. But
yeah, you were just being authentic.
And reframing it as like, my emotions are a fucking superpower. Like, it's not a weakness to be vulnerable. It's not a weakness to be sad. It's not a weakness to be happy. They're all emotions. But even within that, if you're just caught in that triangle of the victim, blame, or the hero, and you're just like crying and like, oh, you're the reason that I'm crying. That puts you in kind of that unhealthy, unintegrated place versus, and I think that triangle can help break that because I think that triangle comes from a very reactive place versus being able to say, okay, I'm having a reaction. I'm feeling elevated or escalated or triggered or whatever, and actually taking the time to say, okay, stories go away. What am I feeling? Like, what is the emotion behind this? And then that almost being able to clear things of like, okay, I'm angry. I can go hit a punching bag or I can go scream in the woods. And if I'm sad, I can set a 10-minute timer and just cry and get it all out. Or if I'm, happy, I think is the easy one. I mean, well, it's easy when it's welling up.
Yeah.
I don't think we need as much instruction on how to express happiness versus how to express sadness, how to express anger, and creating safe containers for those things too, because as a man, like, we're sometimes perceived as dangerous. We're big,
and
strong.
You're a big guy.
Yes. I don't always see myself as that way, but yeah, 5'11" and but yeah, it's having safe spaces and taking the personal responsibility to look at yourself and be like, how can I handle these things in a healthy way rather than just like, oh, I'm going to go off and get drunk, or oh, I'm going to go yell at my dog or my girlfriend or my partner or whoever it is. Yeah,
and I really believe this is something I want to see what you think about. I believe that feeling your feelings is like going to the gym. Like, it's like, when you first go to the gym and you're first building your muscles, you're not going to be able to like bench press like 200, whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to make up good numbers here, but you're not going to be able to bench press what you will in a year or 2 years. And so you have to, I think a lot of men, when they think, okay, they finally get to the awareness, I need to feel my feelings. But then the perfectionism comes in and they're like, Oh, I don't even want to step into that because I don't know. I'm not going to be good at that. Like I look at the women around me, my partner, my friend, my friends that are women, and I'm not on their level. So why would I even start? And it's like we have had a lot of social acceptance to feel our feelings since we were little. So we have a lot more, at least some of us women, we have a lot more opportunity to build that muscle. And so it's just like you got to get in there and you got to start. And another illustration I feel like is also learning a new language. You know, like if you're learning a language, you're not going to expect to be fluent in like a couple days. But I think sometimes men in their brain, they want, it's emotional and psychological survival. Like they think, okay, I want to step into this higher vibration and like be connected to the women. Like sometimes I've had it where I give a man an ultimatum. Like I need to be able to feel your heart. I need you to feel your heart. Otherwise I can't be in connection to you anymore. And so suddenly men will have this. This is actually like the divine feminine activating, like, you know, the hero's journey. But
Yes.
yeah, so they're like, okay, I need to go on this journey of feeling my feelings. But I want to just put out there that it's a process and like enjoy the process and be gentle with yourself and like don't expect yourself to overnight have it all figured out. And if you do think you have it all figured out overnight, you probably don't.
I think another good analogy in that area is like, well, one, just like you said, just start doing it. Even if it's small, baby steps are still fucking steps.
Mm-hmm.
And that a lot of the times I feel like, and even myself, I was guilty of this literally last night, of the frog in the pot of boiling water.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're doing slow work or the temperature is increasing, depending on the analogy, like you might not notice those things yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really easy, I guess, for me of that, like, oh, I want to be all the way, you know, more integrated, or I see these other people that are doing this better than I am and wanting to like be at that end goal without realizing like, holy shit, I've done a lot of work. Like just, you know, 6 months, a year ago where I would have, you know, spiraled for days or been in just an emotionally just like closed down place of being able to recognize like, oh, this isn't coming from like my soul, my heart, the place I want to come from. And it's, you know, coming from a place of reactivity, and just being able to catch that, you know, I was starting to like spiral into this, like, oh, why aren't I this or that? And then being like, wait, no, I am this and that. I'm doing all of these things, but it is really easy to get caught in that cycle of like not noticing your own growth.
Yeah, it's so important. And we're back. Okay, so one last question. I have to make my train, so we have like 5 minutes.
Yes.
For all the men who are like, I want to start on this path, some of them recently have asked me, because I've started to cut out men in my life that are not able to meet me there after like many times of talking to them and like trying to help them. But I don't think it's my work to do, you know, as the woman. I can support them on their path, but they need to go on their hero's journey. What would you recommend as resources for men if they want to start feeling their feelings? Like, I think men's circles are amazing, but then like, what if they don't have a men's circle in their area?
Men's circles, therapy. I've been in talk therapy since I was 5, and there's a real power in being able to like tell something to somebody and like know they're not going to judge you, but will still potentially like say, hey, that might not be healthy. The Power of Vulnerability by Brittnee Brown. Amazing, a lot of amazing reframing. And then The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, in order to maybe like separate from that, like, oh, these thoughts are me and define me, and that's what makes me a man, versus being able to separate that inner voice from your heart or your soul or your true essence, and then like trying in small, yes, this is something that was recommended to me in a different way, but like starting off with things that like they may feel cheapened or cheating or like, oh, this isn't enough, but like starting off in ways that you're like 99% sure to get a positive response. Like share something small, something, you know, or something with somebody that like, you know, would probably give you a positive response, and then slowly leaning into the bigger things so you can you're rewriting your brain chemistry. So having positive experiences to show that like, oh, this is a safe place. And not, like you said, trying to jump off the diving board and do a triple backflip, or trying to go into the weight room and like, I can do 500 pounds with my legs. I can do 500 pounds of emotion.
Amazing. I love this. And just, I think also just knowing that if you're listening to this and you're trying, you're already doing 1,000 times better than most men out there that are not even aware of this conversation. So like, give yourself credit for that.
Yes, just the want to change is motion. That is more than a lot of people will ever do or have the self-realization to do, to want that change. And the want of that change is the start.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, Noah.
Thank you for asking me to be on the podcast.
I want to talk way longer, but I also want to make my train.
We'll have more time another time.
Yes. Okay. So thank you guys all for listening. I hope this was helpful. And this is the lovely Noah. And we'll see you in the next podcast. I'm just excited to see what all the feedback is. So if you have like feedback, questions, comments, write it in the YouTube notes here. Send me a message on Instagram. Let's keep the conversation going.
Yeah, I'm open to responding to questions on there, and I've ran men's circles and hold space, so I'm definitely open to people reaching out to me with questions or advice or recommendations or like middle fingers.
All the things.
All the things.
Okay, I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and we'll see you in the next podcast. Bye.